All right, let's get right into it. This is the post-incident analysis for SCP-9000, the Trench. And I want to be clear, this is more than just another containment file. This is a strategic assessment of a catastrophic failure. We're going to take a hard look at how the Foundation's own doctrine, our own way of doing things, created one of the biggest threats we've ever had to face.
This, right here, is the whole thing in a nutshell. This is the central conclusion of the entire report, a single, profound category error. It's the moment everything went wrong. We looked at over 2,000 human beings and saw inventory, a resource to be managed. We completely failed to recognize the sheer anomalous potential of that much concentrated despair.
So, to really understand this failure, we're not going to start with the facility itself. No, we have to start with what it produced, the Keter-class entity we now call SCP-9000-B, or the Totem. This is the horrific, living, breathing outcome of our miscalculation. And you've got to understand what this thing is. SCP-9000-B isn't some anomaly we stumbled upon in the wild. It's an egregore, a psychic entity that we created. It is the literal physical sum of all the agony, all the hatred, and all the despair of every single prisoner, and it was given form by the very systems we built to control them.
This is the only comprehensive description from a witness that we have, and it's absolutely chilling. D-1098 describes this gigantic, pulsating mass of flesh that had physically woven itself into the prison's infrastructure. But the most important part, the real key, is that last line. It liked the agony. This confirms it wasn't some mindless force. It was sentient, and its entire existence was fueled by continuing the same suffering that created it.
So that brings us to the central question of this whole investigation, doesn't it? How could the Foundation, an organization whose entire purpose is containment, end up engineering the birth of a monster like this? Well, to answer that, we have to look at the place it was born.
Now, we're going to examine the maker, the physical prison, SCP-9000, and the cold, logistical philosophy that was baked right into its design.
So, what exactly was the Trench? Well, picture this, an artificial pocket dimension, a 5-layered super prison hidden from the entire world off the coast of the Maug Islands. Its purpose? To be a single, centralized hub for our entire D-class population. It was designed for maximum security and, we thought, absolute control.
This quote from Deputy Director Aquino, this is key. He knew exactly what this radical paratechnological experiment was, but he deliberately framed it in the most mundane, bureaucratic terms he could think of. And why? To push it right past the ethical oversight that a project of this magnitude should have demanded.
And here's the deception laid bare. What was sold to oversight as an administrative upgrade was actually a radical experiment on thousands of people. What was called just another prison was in reality a paratechnological construct built inside an unstable extra-dimensional space. The language wasn't an accident. It was a deliberate smokescreen.
And here it is, the fatal design flaw, the ticking time bomb at the heart of the project. See, you can't run a normal power grid in a pocket dimension, so the prison ran on bioenergy drawn from the inmates themselves. This wasn't just power, it created a direct conduit, a psychic link between the collective consciousness of over 2,000 suffering minds and the very walls and systems holding them captive. They were literally powering their own prison with their despair.
So now we turn to the event itself, Incident Totem. This is the moment the system finally broke. That vulnerability was exploited, and the entity was born. What you're about to see is the official reconstruction of that catastrophic failure.
Pretty much everything we know about what happened in there comes from one source, D-1098. And he wasn't just some random survivor. His profile shows an extremely high tolerance for graphic material and, weirdly enough, a unique fluency in our own syntax. He was the perfect instrument to translate metaphysical chaos into structured data. His testimony immediately tells you that the laws of physics were out the window. Things just started to break down. Cell doors didn't open, they dissolved. Hallways became infinite. The very architecture of the prison was being rewritten by something horrible.
The official log, it reads like a horror story told by a computer. It starts with alarms gargling, then a cascading failure in the bioenergy grid as cell doors start dissolving. A few minutes later, internal sensors confirm the impossible, corridors with infinite length, and then, at T+45 minutes, all sensors just overload as the Keter-class entity is confirmed. This is a technical log of reality itself collapsing.
So the physical threat, the Totem, was contained. But the incident created a second beast. And this one, well, this one might be even more dangerous. We now have to analyze the ideological threat, the Memetic Contagion, that the story of SCP-9000 has become.
You see, the greatest long-term threat isn't the monster. It's this document, the leaked report you're looking at right now. It's objective, undeniable proof of our most controversial practices. It makes the abstract idea of the declass system concrete and horrifyingly real, and it's become a powerful symbol for anyone who wants to see the Foundation burn. And the way it leaked out is insidiously clever. The real SCP-9000 file is basically hidden in plain sight, presented as one contest entry among a bunch of absurd fictions, like cognito-hazardous jello. This doesn't dilute the threat, it camouflages it. It allows the core truth of our actions to spread under the harmless guise of entertainment. It is a truth bomb disguised as a ghost story. To understand the full scope of this, the report introduces an analytical lens called the Maker and the Beast. Really, it's a framework designed to show the direct causal link, where our own policy, the Maker, is directly responsible for creating its own anomalous monsters, the Beast.
And this framework shows that we are trapped in a self-replicating cycle. First, our actions create a physical monster. That's Beast 1. Second, our protocols demand documentation, which creates a narrative monster, Beast 2. Third, this story infects our institutional memory. And fourth, that memory shapes future policy, which in turn gestates new monsters. Our own containment process is ensuring the creation of new horrors.
So, what's the official response? This final section outlines the grim, high-level directives from the O5 Council. And this isn't just a cleanup operation. It's a desperate attempt to learn from a failure that has shaken the Foundation right to its core.
The directives are severe. Decommission the entire facility by collapsing the pocket dimension. Study the entity to prevent this from ever happening again. Completely overhaul our entire doctrine on incarceration. And, in a sign of the new battlefield we're on, we are to deploy counter-memetics to fight the narrative and place the author of the leak under constant surveillance.
And that leaves us with the final, haunting question of this entire analysis. The Beast, SCP-9000-B, is contained for now, trapped inside its prison of suffering. But the Maker, the system, the doctrine, the part of the Foundation itself that built that prison, that's still here. So how do you contain the part of yourself that creates monsters?